Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord. Just once again. So welcome you all for this Chaitanya Charitamrta session. Today we'll be discussing the last portion of chapter 3 of MadhyaLila3. Let's offer our respectful obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं हम वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Okay. So we were reading about how Lord Chaitanya was in the house of Advaita Ācārya, and the daytime would be spent in discussing Krishna Katha. In the evening would be Nama Sankirtan and lot of dancing of Lord Chaitanya and his associates, and lot of prasadam distribution. So that is the description that we were reading, and today we'll also go to the last section. That is, so we'll be starting from verse number 178. So 178 to 192, we'll be seeing how Shachi Mata has a desire that Lord Chaitanya stays at Jagannath Puri. And then we will see a conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Haridas Thakur from 198, 193 to 197, 198 to 203. Lord spends a few more days with devotees. So we see why he is ready to go, and then he stays back for a few more days. And finally, the Lord departs for Jagannath Puri. So we are in chapter 3. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu stays at the house of Advaita Ācārya. मातारा व्यग्रता देखी प्रभुरा व्यग्र मना भक्त गणा एकत करी बलिला वचना. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw his mother's great eagerness, he became a little agitated. He therefore assembled all the devotees present and spoke to them. So we saw that his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother was very distraught and distressed. So this agitated the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore he assembled all the devotees present and spoke to them. Toma sabara agya vina chali lama vrindavana yate narila vyagna kaila nivatana. Sorry, Sugit is very good, but I find it difficult to recite these verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'll try again. Toma sabara agya vina chali lama vrindavana yate narila vigna kaila nivartana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed all, without your order, I tried to go to Vrindavan. There was some obstacle, however, and I had to return. So here Lord is explaining to the devotees assembled there that after taking sannyas, I decided to go to Vrindavan, but some obstacle came and I had to return back. And all this happened because I had not taken permission from you all. यद्यपि सहसामि करियाचि संन्यास तथापि तोमार साबहाइते nahi baudas. My dear friends, although I have suddenly accepted this renounced order, I still know that I shall never be indifferent to you. So here Lord is appealing to all these dear friends of his who have come from the from Navdeep and other towns, and he's saying that I have suddenly accepted this sannyas order. Yadyapi sahasa ami kariyachi sannyas. Sahasa, suddenly I have accepted this renounced order, but you should know this, that I will not be indifferent to you. I still know that I shall never be indifferent to you. So, Toma Saba Haite Nahiba Udas. So, I will never be indifferent to you. So, because you are my very dear devotees. Toma Saba na chadiba yavatami jiba mata reta vata ami chadite nariba. My dear friends, as long as I remain manifest, I shall never give you up, nor shall I be able to give up my mother. So Lord is saying, till the time I manifest on the surface of this earth, I will never give you up. So such a beautiful statement Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making, that I will not give you up, nor will I be able to give up my mother. Because although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has accepted sannyas, but then there is so much of love and affection between all these devotees and the Lord. So Lord is saying, I cannot give you up. Sannyasira dharma nahe sannyasa karina nija janma sthane rahe kutumbalana. After accepting sannyas, it is not the duty of a sannyasi to remain at his birthplace, encircled by relatives. So this is the dilemma which is coming up. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, somehow suddenly I took sannyas, and of course, as a sannyasi, it is a duty that I should not stay at my birthplace. Nicha janmasthane rahe kutumbalana. So if I stay at my birthplace, there will be so many friends and relatives, and I'll be encircled by those relatives, and it will not be inappropriate. So he's saying it is not the dharma. Sannyasira dharma nahi. It is not the dharma of a sannyasi to stay in his birthplace. Keha yena bali kare nindana yukti kaha yate rahe dharma. Make some arrangements so that I may not leave you, and at the same time people may not blame me for remaining with relatives after taking sannyas. So Lord is requesting the devotees that you please make some arrangement so that I don't have to leave you, but at the same time I cannot remain at my birthplace, because otherwise I will be criticized for doing that, because I cannot stay with my family. So this is what Lord has asked the help. Lord Chaitanya is appealing to all the devotees there. Shuniya prabhura madhura vachana shachi pasha Ācārya adi karila gamana. After hearing Lord Chaitanya's statement, all the devotees headed by Advaita Ācārya approached Mother Shachi. So everybody heard Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement, and so when they heard, they went to Advaita Ācārya. headed with Advaita, all the devotees went to see Mother Shachi. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked for a resolve, and all the devotees along with Advaita, they went to Mother Shachi to get this resolve. So let's see what is Shachi Mata's desire now. Prabhura nivedana tare sakala kahila shuni Shachi jagan mata kahite lagila. When they submitted Lord Chaitanya's statement, Mother Shachi, who is the mother of the universe, began to speak. So here, all the devotees headed by Advaita Ācārya, they went to see Mother Shachi. And so let's see what Mother Shachi begins to speak. Jagan Mata, she is referred here as the mother of the universe. Then she began speaking.
tenho yadi ihan rahe tabe mora sukha tān'ra nindā yadi seha mora duḥkha. Shachi Mata said, "It will be a great happiness for me if Nimai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, stays here. But at the same time, if someone blames him, it will be my great unhappiness." So Shachi Mata is talking two things. Being a mother, she's so, of course, which mother would not like to stay with the child? So Shachi Mata wants to be with the child, Nimai, but simultaneously she understands that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stays along with Shachi Mata after taking sannyas, then it is not proper. He would be criticized by the saintly persons for not leaving home, because after taking sannyas, a person is expected to leave home and dedicate his life only for the purpose of Krishna consciousness, for preaching Krishna consciousness. So that is how she was feeling there, and that is what she is voicing.
So we see here that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother, and we also already saw that how much love she had for her son, but still she is not saying that, nothing doing, I have decided he will stay here only. So she's not saying that. So very beautifully Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that if a mother who has a responsibility for the spiritual upliftment also of her child, if she does not allow her child to search for Krishna, to move forward in Krishna consciousness and progress in spiritual life, then she is called Ma. We thought, we say Ma refers to mother. So Prabhupada explains that then in that case, if the mother is not inspiring her child to take up Krishna consciousness, then she is called Ma, which indicates Maya. That because of her strong material attachment, she is not letting her child go, because she thinks, if the child becomes attracted to God, then the child will not really care about me. Then I will not, he will not be attached to me. So here Shachi Mata is actually setting an example for the mothers of the entire world. So there is one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 5th canto which explains that one should not become a spiritual master, one should not become a relative, one should not become a father, one should not become a mother, one should not become even a worshipable deity. These deities also, these are positions, posts. So one should not acquire those posts, or one should not become a husband if they cannot help their dependent to cross over the cycle of birth and death. So this is the example being set by Shachi Mata, the mother of the Lord himself. Tate yukti bhala mora mane laya nila chale rahe yadi duḥkha haya. Mother Shachi said, this consideration is good. In my opinion, if Nimai remains at Jagannath Puri, he may not leave any one of us, and at the same time can remain aloof as a sannyasi. Thus, both purposes are fulfilled. So here she is saying that Lord Chaitanya, let my Nimai remain at Nilachal or Jagannath Puri. So that way he will not leave us, and still he can remain away from us as a sannyasi. So both the purposes are fulfilled, and she explains it in the next verse.
Lila chale navadvipe yena duḥkha lokagata gati varta pavanirantara Nila chale navadvipe yena dui ghara. So these two places are intimately connected. Neelachal is Jagannath Puri and Navadvip is in Bengal. So Mother Sachi is talking about the distance between Bengal and Orissa, and she is saying that since Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are intimately related, as if there were two rooms in the same house, people from Navadvip generally go to Jagannath Puri, and those in Jagannath Puri go to Navadvip. This going and coming will help carry news of Lord Chaitanya. In this way, I'll be able to get news of him. So she is requesting her son if he can make Jagannath Puri as his base so that people would keep coming and going from there to Navadvip, and she would get to know as how her son is doing.
Tabe sab karite para gamana gamana Ganga snane kabu habe tān'ra agamana. All you devotees will be able to come and go, and sometimes he may also come to take his bath in the Ganges. So here she is saying that all you devotees in Navadvip, you can go to Neelachal, you can go to Jagannath Puri, meet the Lord, have his darshan, get news about him, and when you come back, I can hear from you. How is my Nimai? And similarly, sometimes the Lord may himself travel, Nimai may himself travel to Ganga, which is flowing very through Navadvip, so she can get information, then she can actually have probably have darshan of the Lord himself.
Āpānara duḥkha sukha taha nahi gani
tān'ra yei sukha taha nija sukha mani.
I do not care for my personal happiness or unhappiness, but only for his happiness. Indeed, I accept his happiness as my happiness. So actually, this is what real love is. That keeping the happiness of your beloved in the front. So not about how can this person give me happiness, but how can I give happiness to him. So Sachi Mata is willing and ready to sacrifice her own desires. Like she always wanted to stay with Nimai, but she's ready and willing to sacrifice her desire, her happiness for the sake of his son's happiness. Shuni bhakta gana tān're korila stavana
Vedagya yaiche mata tomara vachana. After hearing Shachi Mata, all the devotees offered her prayers and assured her that her order, like a Vedic injunction, could not be violated. So this desire of Shachi Mata is taken as a Vedic injunction, and all the devotees headed by Advaita Ācārya, they all of them accepted, and they said this order cannot be violated. So they were all very they just accepted as a Vedic injunction. So it is explained that when there is an argument in earlier times, when people knew Vedas, so when there would be an argument or something, in that if somebody quotes a Vedic injunction, then that would be just accepted because it is said in the Vedas, that is truth. So similarly here Shachi Mata's opinion has just been accepted, said cannot be violated or broken.
Bhaktagana Prabhu aage asiya kahila
Shuniya Prabhu Ramane Ananda Haila.
All the devotees informed Lord Chaitanya of Sachi Mata's decision. Hearing it, the Lord became very pleased. So when we act for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, that pleases the Supreme Lord. That selfless devotional service pleases the Supreme Lord. We may go to the temple with our long list of what we want from the Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord may give us that also. But that is not all that pleasing compared to when an act of selfless devotional service is performed.
And we also see that devotees are so smart. Now, Shachi Mata knew that sannyas dharma is that the child cannot come back now he's taken sannyas. And still she wanted to know about what is happening to her Nimai. And she, so transcendental intelligence she applied, and then such an arrangement she did. And so all the devotees, including her, all the devotees were very pleased and happy, and the Lord was very satisfied as well. Navadvipe vasi adi yata bhakta gana Savare sammana kari balila vachana.
Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered respects to all the devotees present from Navadvip and other towns, speaking to them as follows.
So now the Lord begins his instructions to the devotees. Tumi sabaloka mora parama bandhava ei bhiksha mango more deha tumi saba. My dear friends, you are all my intimate friends. Now I am begging a favor of you. Please give it to me. So Lord is about to instruct the devotees, and yet we can see that how sweetly and how humbly he is presenting that instruction or that order in front of his intimate friends and devotees. So this is like the close group which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had of his devotees with him. Ghare yana kare sada Krishna sankirtana Krishna nama Krishna katha Krishna aradhana.
So all of us who want to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and who are willing to follow his instructions, here is a direct instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is telling Ghare yana kara sada Krishna sankirtan, that go back to your home. And what do you do after going back to your home? So 4 things he has mentioned: Krishna sankirtan, Krishna nama, Krishna katha, Krishna aradhana. So one is chanting the holy names of the Lord congregationally, Krishna sankirtan. Then Krishna nama, Krishna katha, Krishna aradhana. So he also requested them to worship Krishna, chant his holy names, and discuss his holy pastimes. So basically, this is the life and soul of the devotees. This is how they are expected by the Supreme Lord. So this is what the Supreme Lord expects from each and every one of us. So irrespective of which situation we are in, so some of us are students, some of us are married and with children, some of us are leading a retired life, various position, various responsibilities, but simultaneously one thing which everyone is expected to follow is Krishna consciousness. And along with our material duties, along with our family duties, along with our society duties, we are supposed to do these 4 things. Krishna Sankirtan, so invite some devotees to your home and do some Harinam Kirtan, nice, vibrant Kirtan. You yourself would feel so much of difference in your at your home vibrations itself. Then Krishna Nama, Krishna Katha, Krishna Aradhana. So when we are sitting with our family member, we discuss some Krishna Katha. We perform the deity worship. We worship Krishna at home and we chant his holy names.
So this is the essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. He is not expecting, neither he is instructing that one has to take sannyas to take up Krishna consciousness. So there is no need of sannyas. All these practices can be very well be done at home. So this is what he is instructing, that you perform this Krishna conscious devotional service, 4 things at home.
Agya deha nila chale kariye gamana
Madhya Madhya asito mai divadarashana. After thus instructing the devotees, the Lord asked their permission to go to Jagannath Puri. He assured them that at intervals he would come there and meet them again and again. So last time Lord did not take permission. He wanted to go to Vrindavan immediately after his sannyas and he could not go. Obstructions came. So here he is seeking the permission of the devotees to allow him to go to Jagannath Puri, and said that we will meet. No problem. This separation is not permanent. It is only temporary. I will meet you. Bali sabakare ishtaha hasina vidaya karila prabhu sammana karina.
In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, offering due respects to all the devotees and smiling very mildly, bade them farewell. Sabhavedadiya Prabhu Chalite Kaila Mana Haridasa Kandi Kahe Karuna Vachana.
So as the Lord was about to start, and Haridas Thakur's concerns came to the front. After requesting all the devotees to return home, the Lord decided to go to Jagannath Puri. At that time, Haridas Thakur began to cry and speak some pathetic words. Karuna Vachan. So he began to speak to the Lord. Nila chale yabe tumi mora kona gati. Nila chale yate mora nahi ka shakati.
Haridas Thakur said, "You are going to Jagannath Puri, and that is all right. But what will be my destination? I am not able to go to Jagannath Puri."
So we even now when we look at when we go to Jagannath Puri temple, we see a board there, and we see the rule of Jagannath temple is that non-Hindus cannot enter. So those who do not follow the Varnashram system are not allowed to enter the Jagannath temple, even till date. So this is happening 500 years back. The same rule is even now. So the problem was that Haridas Thakur was actually born in a Muslim family. So he was born in a Muslim family. So he was considered, he was not considered as a Hindu or as a follower of Varnashram system. Although Haridas Thakur was such an exalted personality that he was considered better than an initiated Brahmana. He was considered like that. He was accepted like that widely in the society. But still he did not want to break that rule of Jagannath temple. So Haridas Thakur was so attached to the Lord. So he had this dilemma. If Lord will travel to Jagannath Puri and he starts living in the temple, and he does not come out and I cannot go in, how will I have darshan of the Lord? So he became very, very agitated with this thought, and he presented this, Karuna Vachan. He was pathetic, he was feeling so vulnerable, and so he had no hope in front of him. That's how he was feeling. But later we know that how Lord arranged everything, and Haridas Thakur actually traveled to Jagannath Puri. He did not enter the temple, but he stayed close to the temple at a place called Siddha Bakul, where there's a Bakul tree, and he would chant his rounds under that, and that tree is now called as Siddha Bakul. Muniyadam tomarana pabadarashana kema eba e papishta.
Because I am the lowest among men, I shall not be able to see you. How shall I maintain my sinful life, papish to jivan? I know I am a sinner, and that is why I had such a low birth. But how will I maintain myself if I will not be able to see you?
Prabhu kahe kara tumi dainya samvarana tomara danyate mora vyakul haya mana. The Lord replied to Haridas Thakur, please check your humility. Just the sight of your humility very much agitates my mind. So here Lord is saying, don't be so, don't be more humble than this. It is just melting the heart of the Lord. Tomalagi Jagannathe karibani vedan tomalana yabami Shri Purushottama.
Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu assured Haridas Thakur that he would place a petition before Lord Jagannath, and that he would certainly take him there to Jagannath Puri. So such is the merciful Lord that he is telling that, don't worry, Haridas, I will go and I will request on behalf of you. I will put a petition to please allow you to Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham. And he is saying, I would certainly take you there to Jagannath Puri.
So this is the result of humility. When we have this humble service attitude, it melts the heart of the devotees, it melts the heart of the Lord.
Tabe Ācārya kahe vinaya karina dina dui chari raha kripata karina.
After that, Advaita Ācārya respectfully requested Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu to show him mercy by remaining another 2 or 4 days. So already Lord had stayed for many days, and now it was decided as an instruction from Mother Sachi that Lord Chaitanya can stay at Jagannath Puri, and he was leaving now. The devotees have been sent home, and Lord Chaitanya was ready to go, and Advaita Ācārya again requested that you please stay for another 2-4 din, another 2-3 days, you please stay 2-4 days. Ācārya vakya prabhu na kare langhana rahila Advaita grahe na kaila gamana.
So the Supreme Lord, actually this particular aspect of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in entire Chaitanya Charitamrta, it comes out at various occasions where Lord desires something and devotees desire something else, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu submits to the desires of the devotee. So he considers his desires to be less important and the devotee's desire to be more. So here we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never violated the request of Advaita Ācārya, therefore he remained at his home and did not leave immediately for Jagannath Puri.
Anandita haila achar shachi bhakta sabha pratidina kare achar mahamohotsava. Lord Chaitanya's decision was received very happily by Advaita Ācārya, Mother Shachi, and all the devotees. Of course, this would give so much joy. I'm sure some of us may remember, when we were young and we had gone to some of our cousin's house, and when it was time to come back, we may not feel to come, leave their home and come, or if they had come to our house and when they are leaving, we don't want them to go, and suddenly if the program changes, they continue to live on stay for another 2-3 days, then it brings such extra joy. And here it is the Lord and that pure transcendental relationship which he had with all these devotees. So all of them were delighted and ecstatic. Wow, Lord will stay for another 2-3-4 days, so everybody was just super excited. Advaita Ācārya celebrated every day with a great festival. Dīna Krishna Katha Rasa Bhakta Gana Sange Ratre Maha Mahotsava Sankirtana Range. During the day, the devotees discuss subject matters concerning Krishna. Dine Krishna Katha Ras. So during the daytime, they discuss the subject matters concerning Krishna, they discuss Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. And at night, there was a great festival of congregational chanting at the house of Advaita Ācārya. Ratre Maha Mahotsava Sankirtana Range. Anandita hana shachi kare narandhana sukhe bhojan kare prabhu lana bhakta gana.
Mother Shachi cooked with great pleasure, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with the devotees, accepted the prasadam with great pleasure.
Ācārya Shraddha Bhakti Griha Sampadhane Sakala Safala Haila Prabhuradhane. In this way, all the opulences of Advaita Ācārya, his faith, devotion, home, riches, and everything else was successfully utilized in the worship of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. So here we see that Advaita Ācārya was setting an example of an ideal householder. So he had invited the Lord, and day and night he served the Lord by organizing Krishna Katha. So all the Lord said earlier, if you remember the 4 things: Krishna Sankirtan, Krishna Nam, Krishna Aradhana, and Krishna Katha. So all these are happening at the house of Advaita Ācārya. So this is how he was setting an example for all the householders, ideal householder. So from this we can learn that most of us are householders. So depending on our ability and capability, we should organize this program. Occasionally, once in a while, we should organize this program, inviting some devotees, as Sukiti was telling, and having this, having some discussion on Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, having Nam Sankirtan, distributing Prasadam, and this will actually multiply our bliss and happiness in Krishna consciousness. Shachira Ananda Bade Dekhi Putra Mukha Bhojana Karana Purna Kaila Nija Sukha.
As Mother Sachi constantly saw the face of her son and fed him, her own happiness increased and was indeed complete.
He Mata Advaita Bhakta Gana Mile Vanchila Kataka Dina Mahakotuhale. In this way, at Advaita Ācārya's house, all the devotees met and passed some days together in a greatly festive mood. So we see that Krishna consciousness is a daily festival. it's a daily festival, right? Morning, we see, families which are, they're absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Morning they get up, they perform arati, they sing, they worship the deities, all the pictures, then they chant the holy names, then they, cook for the deities, and then they offer the bhoga, they read from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So if you see that all of that brings so much of peace, tranquility and happiness. So Krishna consciousness can actually, if we want, our every day of our life can be a festival. Aradin Prabhu kahe sab bhakta gane nija nija grahe sabe karah gamane.
The next day, Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu requested all the devotees to return to their respective homes.
Ghare giya kara sabe Krishna sankirtana punarapi ama sange haibe milana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also asked them to execute the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord at their homes, and he assured them that they would be able to meet him again. Kabuva tumara kari lila3 gamana Kabuva siba ami garite ganga snana.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them, sometimes you will come to Jagannath Puri and sometimes I shall come bathe in the Ganges. The Ganga does not flow in Jagannath Puri. So Mahaprabhu is saying that for Ganga Bath, Ganga Snan, I'll come to Bengal and I'll meet you. And when it is, we will see later how he invites them, that when it is Rath Yatra time, you all come there and we will meet there.
Nityanand Gosai Pandit Jagadananda Damodar Pandit Tara Datta Mukunda Ācārya Jana Ācārya Prabhu Sane Janani Prabodha Kari Vandila Charane. Sri Advaita Ācārya sent 4 persons along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who are they? Nityanand Prabhu, Jagadanand Pandit, Damodar Pandit and Mukund Datta. So they were all instructed or sent by Sri Advaita Ācārya to accompany the Lord. After pacifying his mother, Shachimata, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu submitted prayers to her lotus feet. Tare pradakshina kari kari lagamana
When everything was arranged, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu circumambulated his mother and then started Jagannath Puri. In the house of Advaita Ācārya, there arose tumultuous crying.
So this was very similar to what happened when Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura. So when Krishna went to Mathura, leaving all the Vrajvasis, so this is what their situation was. They could not continue living. Every day was very difficult for them. Nirapekshahana Prabhu Shigra Chalila Kandite Kandite Ācārya Pashat Chalila.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unaffected. He left swiftly and Advaita Ācārya followed him weeping.
Kata Duragiya Prabhu Kariyora Hata Ācārya Prabodhi Kahe Keju Mishra Bata. After he had followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for some distance, Advaita Ācārya was petitioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with folded hands. The Lord spoke the following sweet words. So Advaita Ācārya, everybody remained back, Shachimata and other devotees remained back, but here we see that Advaita Ācārya was still following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and after some distance was crossed, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned around with folded hands. He began speaking Mishta Bhat, sweet words to Advaita Ācārya to convince him to stay back and not continue. Janani Prabodhi Kara Bhakta Samadhana Tyumi Vyagrahaile Karo Narahibe Prana.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please pacify all the devotees and my mother. if you become agitated, no one will be able to continue to exist.
So here Lord is explaining that you are the one who has to take that responsibility, pacify all the devotees. If you become vyagra, if you become agitated, then definitely they cannot continue, they will leave their lives, they will leave their bodies. So you have to be the one who anchors all of them and pacify them so they can continue with their lives. Bali Prabhu tān'ra kariya lingana nivritti kariya kaila swachanda gamana. Saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Advaita Ācārya and stopped him from following any further. Then, without anxiety, he proceeded to Jagannath Puri. So Lord spoke those sweet words. Then Lord embraced Advaita Ācārya and then stopped him that no further you do not come. And that is how Advaita Ācārya went back and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu swachanda gamana. He, without any anxiety, he proceeded to Jagannath Puri. Ganga tire tire Prabhu chari jana sthathe Nīladri lila Prabhu chhatra bhoga pathe.
The Lord with the other 4 persons went along the banks of the Ganges through the path of Chhatra Bhog toward Nīladri, Jagannath Puri. So those 4 devotees and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are proceeding towards Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mangale Prabhu Nīladri Gamana
Vistari Valiya Chena Dasa Vrindavana. In his book known as Chaitanya Mangal or Chaitanya Bhagavad, Vrindavan Das Thakur has elaborately described the Lord's passage to Jagannath Puri. So I'm sure most of us would now remember and would have heard. We had taken certain sections from Chaitanya Bhagavad earlier also, because at certain parts of the Chaitanya Lila are very elaborately discussed by Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavad, and they have been just mentioned very summarily by in Chaitanya Charitamrta.
Advaita he Prabhu re lashuni jana Ācārya miliya tān'ra Krishna prema dhana. If one hears the activities of the Lord at the house of Advaita Ācārya, he will certainly very soon attain the riches of love of Krishna. So what we have been hearing for last 2 weeks is the pastimes when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to Shantipur and resides in the house of Advaita Ācārya, where first Advaita Ācārya serves lavish feast to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, and then we heard some joking conversation, and then we see how Sachi Mata comes there, and then Sachi Mata starts serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees, and everybody is in ecstasy, chanting, dancing, singing, feasting, and finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the order of Sachi Mata is moving towards Jagannath Puri as his base. So all this description, when one hears, it says here that one attains the riches of love of Krishna.
So this is the Phalastuti. This is the fruit of, or the benediction. This is the benediction verse that if we hear this pastime, then we'll attain the benediction of love of God.
Shri Rupa Raghunatha Deyar Asha
Chaitanya Charitamrita kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps.
So this is what we are taking a diversion again now and getting into Chaitanya Bhagavad, because we read just now that Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is the Vyasadev of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, so he has written a detailed description. So I'm sure all of us are excited to see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually reached Nīladri or Nīlachal or Purushottam Kshetra or Jagannath Puri Dham. So on that way, all what happens, we will go to Chaitanya Bhagavad. Nityananda Gadadhara Mukunda Govinda Samadhi Jagdananda Brahmananda.
The Lord was accompanied by So there we saw that there were 4 devotees accompanied, and we see here there are 2 more devotees added to the list.
Pathe Prabhu Pariksha Karena Sava Prati
Ki sambala ache bala kahara samhati.
On the way, the Lord tested everyone by asking, what assets do you have with you? Now, these are the devotees who are walking with a sannyasi, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like going to dedicate his life in the service of Krishna. And along with him are some more devotees accompanying. So Mahaprabhu wanted to test them that whether they are ready to depend on Krishna or they are still bringing their own assets with him. So he's asking this question. On the way, the Lord tested everyone by asking, what assets do you have with you?
Sab bale Prabhu vina agya tomara kara dravya laite vasha piyache kara. They replied, "O Lord, who has the power to bring anything without your permission?" On hearing this reply, the Lord was greatly satisfied, and thereafter he explained some truths regarding this topic. So basically, these devotees, when asked that what assets are you carrying, basically what they said is that we have no other asset other than you. You are the Supreme Lord. Without your permission, without the sanction from you, how can we bring anything? So we are just, you are our asset. So this is what these devotees responded. And the Lord was greatly satisfied, and Lord realized that these devotees who are traveling with him, they have their unalloyed love and devotion for him. That's why their unalloyed determination is there to continue with the Lord and serve him on the way. भोक्तव्य अदृष्टे था के ये दिने लिखाना आरण्य हो आसी मिले अवश्य था खाना प्रभु यार ये दिवसा ना लिखे आहारा राजपुत्र हाउ तबु उपवास तारा. If you are destined to receive some eatables, you will certainly obtain them. Even if you are in the forest, if the Supreme Lord does not set aside food for a person, he will not eat, even if he is the son of a king. So here Lord started explaining these truths. So what is he explaining? That if we have certain eatables in our destiny, if we are destined to receive them, then even if we are in a forest, even if we are in a remote, inaccessible place, we will certainly obtain them. But if the Lord has not set aside food, even if he is the prince, the king may be pampered, but the prince is pampered the most in the kingdom. So even if one is a prince, but if the Lord has not sanctioned food for him, he also has to fast. So this is what the Lord is explaining, this truth. So it is explained in the Puranas, it is explained that the distress comes to us without asking. None of us ask for problems, none of us ask for misery, none of us ask for suffering. It still comes to us without even our asking. Similarly, happiness also comes by the arrangement of providence. So like distress comes to us without asking, we should not endeavor for material happiness, because that will also come on its own accord as comes the distress. Takile o khaite na pare agya bine akasmat kala gare karo sane krodha kari bale muni na khai mubata Divyakari rahe nija shirdiya hata. Without the Lord's sanction, one may not be able to eat even if there is food, for he may suddenly quarrel with someone. So much detail Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining that unless Lord's sanction is there, you cannot even eat. So here he is giving an example that for someone, the Lord's sanction is not there, that he will not eat. So even if there is food in front of him, he may not eat. There may be various reasons for it. He may quarrel with someone. In an angry mood, he may say, I will not eat today. He may even touch his hand to his head and swear to that effect that come what may, I am taking a vow, I will not eat today, I will not eat this. So he may, in an angry mood, he may say, I will not eat today. So we see that how if something is not destined, if something is not sanctioned by the Lord, one will not attain it, even if that thing is in front of that person. ज्वर वेदनाया को था किला भक्षण अतएव ईश्वरेर इच्छा से कारण.
How can he eat while suffering the pain of fever? Therefore, the will of the Supreme Lord prevails.
त्रिभुवने कृष्ण दिया छिन अन्न छत्र ईश्वरेर इच्छा था के मिलिबा सर्वत्र.
Krishna has supplied food for the three worlds. If he desires, one will certainly obtain it.
So these are the principles which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining. That Krishna is supplying food to the three worlds. To the upper planetary systems, the middle planetary systems like ours, and the lower planetary systems, he is supplying food to all the living entities. We don't even know those living entities. We do not know where they are, but they are still being supplied food. So if he desires, then one will certainly obtain it. So if the Lord so desires, then I'll obtain my today's dinner or tomorrow's breakfast. आपने ईश्वर सर्व जाने रे शिखाया इहाते विश्वास यारा से सुख पाया. In this way, the Lord personally taught everyone. One who has faith in his words obtains happiness. So this is how the Lord personally taught the principle of full surrender. That we need to completely surrender to the Lord. Lord willing, the arrangement will be made to maintain this body. And if Lord is not willing, if the Lord does not sanction, even if things are there for the maintenance of my body, I will not be able to access them. yate mati kene koti prayatna kare ishwarera ichha haile se phala dhare.
A person may endeavor for something millions of different ways, but the result will come only if the Supreme Lord sanctions it. So unless the Supreme Lord sanctions, we do not get anything despite of our making an endeavor. And hence we need to completely depend on Krishna, take his complete surrender unto him completely.
So this is a very important verse, a very, very important verse. So if possible, if you want, you can take a screenshot and you can read and recite this verse every day, so that we understand that we are actually ultimately we have to depend on the sanction of the Supreme Lord. There are certain people who want to earn money. There are certain people who have certain goals in life. They are working very hard that it should happen. They try this way and they try that way. But unless there is Lord's sanction, it will not succeed. Namate Prabhu Tattva Kahite Kahite Uttarila Ati Sharanagarete.
As the Lord revealed the truth in this way, they came to the village of Atishar. In that village of Atishar lived one most fortunate saintly person named Sri Anant. So now this particular pastime of Mahaprabhu reaching Atishar and meeting Sri Ananta, we will continue in the next session. We will stop the session here because the time is about to end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So please write down for today, please write down 3 most important instructions. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been giving lot of instructions in this particular portion which we read from Chaitanya Charitamrta and Chaitanya Bhagavat. So any 3 instructions you would be looking forward to, which you write down that you have received from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu today, and which you would sincerely and earnestly try to follow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
की जय चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय कृष्णदास कविराज की जय निदाय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।